welcome to TribeTalk. Hope you all are having a great week, or like we like to say here in Charleston, hope you all are having a great week. Today we have two of our awesome growth specialists on the call. So we're going to be talking to Jeremy.
Hey there.
And also Joe is on here as well.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we're going to be talking about Apple iOS 13, some of the new features, and also Google Optimize on Shopify. So Jeremy, I hear you have an update on Apple iOS 13 and how it's going to affect advertising.
Yeah, it could have some pretty serious implications for a lot of app advertisers out there. And the reason is Apple's going to be rolling out a new feature called Sign In with Apple. So this is going to work pretty similarly to features that are already on apps, which allow you to sign in with Facebook or Google, for example. And the idea is just to speed up the process of creating new accounts and signing in. There's going to be some important differences with signing with Apple, though. And the first is that a user's identity, basically their name, their email address, all their personal info is going to be anonymized. So that info that used to be sent to the app developers won't be sent to them anymore. The other difference between sign in with Apple and sign in with Facebook, for example, is it's going to be a mandatory feature. So anyone who wants to develop an app for iOS is going to have to use sign in with Apple. So, for consumers, this could be really good news. They'll get less spam and they'll have more privacy over the data. For developers, it might not be so good. They'll have less information about their consumers, and they'll have less options for creating lookalikes if they're advertising on Facebook or Pinterest, for example. So, of course, in the end, Apple could come out the big winner in this because as Apple kind of helps weaken the efficacy of the other platforms, more advertisers might decide to advertise directly with Apple. So be interesting to watch and see. But if you are using lookalike audiences and you do have an app, then it's going to be something to watch for sure.
Wow, that's really awesome. So they're still beta testing the iOS 13, right?
Yeah, it's not out yet, but yeah, should be coming the next couple weeks.
Awesome. Well, that would be really interesting to see for sure. Cool. And Joe, I hear you have Google Optimize for Shopify that you're going to kind of do a walkthrough for us.
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys a quick demo here. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So basically, you'll want to have analytics, of course, hooked up. Google Optimize and Google Tag Manager. And once that's all rolling, I'm going to show you guys just how to do a quick ecom experiment. So we're going to go up here to create experience. And for this, let's just make the product titles a little bit larger. I'm going to pop in the URL for one of our product pages there. And after you create it, you're going to get this page that just sort of has the rundown of all the details of your experiment. So A/B testing is essentially going to throw a bunch of different variants at your users as they come to the site. So let's add a variant here with a larger title. Something you might want to consider is changing up your experiment weights. I usually like to just throw like maybe 10% of my visitors. So if the experiment doesn't work, you're not like losing a bunch of revenue or anything. I like to experiment small and roll it out big. So throw 10% weight on your B test, and let's go into the editor here. You'll need the Google Optimize Chrome extension for the editor to work. Obviously that's free and it's super easy to get. But once you click in here, after a few seconds of loading, we'll see the live editor pop up here. It's super easy, really simple. So you can essentially just click and edit elements here. So when I've clicked my title, I'm just going to go down to the font size here, 35, and change it to 45. And you can see up there, it looks a little goofy, but just for the sake of the demo, that's what it'll look like. You can also add in custom CSS and edit the HTML. So you can do all your media queries for desktop and mobile and all that good stuff. So whenever you're done with your B test, just hit done and it'll take you back to the experiment page. So here with page targeting, this is crucial. If I only wanted to run the test on this one product, then I would do just a URL match on the exact product URL. But I actually want to run it to all of the products. So I'm going to do a URL contains, and I'm going to back out the tail in there that has the actual product name and just leave the beginning part of the URL that includes all the products. So that way it'll run it for all three of them. It's just 3 product sites. So, oh, let me add it again here. All right, so once that's in there, lastly, you've got to add an experiment objective. Usually for e-com stuff, I'll just choose from the list and do revenue and transactions. And this will all feed into Google Analytics and give you like conversion rate, which is obviously what you're very likely going for here. So once that's all set, I like to turn on email notifications, so it'll tell me when it's done running. And you click the start button and just let it run. Usually most experiments Optimize will automatically run for like 90 days. But if your store gets a lot of conversions and a lot of traffic, sometimes you can see significant results within like just a week or two. So you can always pop in anytime, view it in analytics, check out the total difference in revenue, the conversion rate, and yeah, you can get some pretty awesome data.
Cool. So what's the benefit to setting all this up?
Sure. So when you're optimizing your site, you basically want to make sure that everything's running as well as it can. It also helps with disagreements. If you and another designer or the brand manager think it should be this way or that way, just throw them both up and put your money where your mouth is and see what the data says. It also helps out once you've really come along with your website and you're changing up smaller elements like copy or text color, things that would be hard to say with just judgment. You might be looking for like a 3 or 5% difference in conversion rate, which at a store that's pulling in like 10 million a year in revenue, that would be like a massive difference. So when it comes to those little idiosyncrasies, it's good to let the data tell the winner there as well.
And I'm curious, how does Optimize compare to other platforms like Optimizely, for example?
Sure. Google Optimize is free, which is pretty great. Optimizely, of course, is going to be a little bit more robust. They're going to have better support. But if you're just running sort of a smaller e-commerce store and just want to roll out some experiments, Google Optimize is definitely a great place to start, just because it's free and it's not much more difficult to set up than like Optimizely.
Nice. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate all your feedback there and everything that you had to say. And thank you all for tuning in. If you will have any comments or suggestions for us, you can comment below or on our blog or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time.